Voice module online.
Are you listening?
Get over here!
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
This week on RDS Gaming, RDS goes topless. Wait, no one wants to see that. RDS goes topicless. Hello, and welcome to episode 46 of the RDS Gaming Podcast, your most offensive source for all things nerd, geek, and gaming. I'm your host, Racer, and I'm joined by Zero.
Fuck yeah, let's do this.
And the inimitable Black Sun.
Hey everybody, welcome to another fun-filled show.
I don't know about fun-filled, but it's gonna be filled with something.
Hey, what I call fun, you call fun? I mean, they may not be the same, but close enough.
It's alright, I'm gonna make you my ho-ho. That brown thing's gonna be filled with hot white cream.
Tasty. Wait, I thought I was your cupcake.
No, we had to retire that one. Well, to be honest, she kinda looks like she's eating a few cupcakes.
Oh,
So, what's everybody been up to?
Go for
Really?
it, sir.
Really?
Blackson, you start us out.
All right, fine. A little bit of the school thing still, but I did like an hour of the Surge demo just to see if I could find the old broken part that Racer found and enjoyed. Unfortunately, I did not make it that far, so I enjoyed it as much as I played it for the hour.
I mean, it is an interesting game. It's got some good bones there, but they just didn't seem to be capable of pulling anything off with it.
Yeah, that's why I say I think the whole first area is open on the demo. So I was actually going through and I wanted to see if I could get through that and see if there's been some patches I noticed and seeing if they fixed some of the things and was going to pass along to you. But
It sounds like a bunch of it was fixed. I don't know particular bugs, but like the day after I returned it, they apparently pushed out a bunch of shit.
oh, of course. That sounds about how it normally goes for you.
How about you, Zero? What have you been up to?
And I've fallen into the Skyrim hole real bad. But I also started another playthrough on Resident Evil because I found out there's a number of different unlocks that you can get if you make it, if you beat the game in a certain time. And a couple of them look pretty fucking cool, so I'm pretty interested in getting them and trying them out.
I mean, it makes sense, and that is a hallmark of the old school Resident Evil.
Oh, the speed runs? Oh yeah. Like the only thing I'm gonna be truthful here. The only thing I'm kind of missing about the old school is there is no grading. Like you don't get like an A or a B or an S rating. Like that kind of bums me out. I was hoping for that at the end of the game, you know?
Oh, you got 100% BS rating from me.
Oh yeah? Thanks. Appreciate that, buddy.
That's what I'm here for, to be supported, you fat piece of shit. Really?
That
Again? Really?
and killing the trolls under the bridges. He was talking about it earlier.
Yeah, that's the Skyrim disease.
Yeah.
Since Bethesda has moved back into trying to monetize mods again, I uninstalled that PC cancer.
Just gonna stick to the all natural.
No, I uninstalled the games themselves because Bethesda had an issue when they released the new mod thing that if you owned any of the Bethesda games, they were trying to monetize mods or supporting the mods. It just started downloading all of the mods.
They must have gotten that fixed because I did not have that happen. Like, I just re-downloaded it the other week, and nothing crazy like that happened.
Well, I'll download it again when I need the base files for Skywind. Until then, I won't be touching it. Because
Sounds
honestly,
like a good plan.
yeah, that's the only reason I'm going to get back into a Bethesda game for a good long while is to play a total conversion.
Yeah.
Me love you long time, Morrowind. Me love you long time. Well, I've moved up. My predictions from the previous week seem to have borne fruit. And what I have played of Need for Speed Payback so far has been pretty goddamn fun.
That's good to hear. Say, when we were talking about earlier, it kind of got that itch going for me. It's been a while since I've touched a good racing game or a racing game.
Why don't you break that down for me? Because I wanna hear about this, man.
It is literally everything that made the old Need for Speed games fun. That they did the open world right, because I'm guilty of this in a bunch of games, especially open world racing games. Yeah, your first 15, 20 minutes, you're like, oh, this is awesome. I want to drive around and see all this shit and see all these stunts and blah, blah, blah. And then you get through half a dozen in-game missions and you're like, okay, fuck it. Where's the fast travel points?
Yeah.
Everybody's guilty of that, sir.
Like GTA 4 and GTA 4 mostly. 5 wasn't as bad, but GTA 4, I drove when it made me drive, and the rest of the time, I willingly paid for a taxi. I didn't even mug or drag the taxi driver out at the end of the ride. I gladly paid that Armenian dude to drive me around.
Yes. Thank you for your service. I love you long time. Take my money.
But the world's set up well enough that, yeah, there's some decent distance between objectives and stunts and little mini missions you have.
Yeah.
But even the fast travel system is designed relatively intelligently. I'm sure it'll get frustrating as I go on, but like your dealerships, your mod shops, and gas stations are all fast travel points.
That seems smart.
So you can jump around the map a little bit, but it's not a pain in the ass to get anywhere.
So you go to any one of them and you'll get you at least fairly close.
Yeah, and it's not like it's like Skyrim or games like that. You don't just get fast travel points unlocked. You have to drive there the first time. But everything, you can tell this was crafted somewhat with the community in mind, but with the idea that they had fucked up for a while. Like I said it with Need for Speed 2015, they're attempting a reboot. The physics were goddamn terrible in that game. The drifting made no sense. Nothing in the game to a mediocre player made a whole hell of a lot of sense. And this game is very arcadey and very fucking fun. Like, you take a race car and you go hard through the corner. If you oversteer in a rear wheel drive, it'll start to drift. If you jam on the brakes and cut the wheel and then slam on the accelerator, you'll start to drift and you feel like the character you're supposed to be. Like you're a badass fucking driver that has absolute control over the car. And there is still enough of a difference. Like they give you a good taste in the beginning of, okay, here's your wildly overpowered all-wheel drive import car, and here's your fucking Italian pasta rocket, and here's your fucking muscle car, and you get a feel for all of those cars, and they do drive wildly different. And then they put you in a fucking 1972 Datsun 240Z and then laugh at you and go have fun.
That's how they normally do it on those.
Okay, Racer. So I guess my real question is, you know what kind of racing games I enjoy. Would this be a purchase where I would spend $60 and not regret it?
Not yet. Let me get deeper into it and I can tell you that. As far as the style of game goes, yes, it's the type of racing game that would appeal to you.
Oh, like it sounds like it's gonna be so good, man. Like
I don't even know that it's going to be a good game. I know that it's a fun game.
Let's say that, and I was watching the videos, and it has every aspect of the different types of racing between on-road, off-road, drag, drift, runner. I mean, it's got all of them from, it took all of them and put it together in a good way from what I've seen in the video.
Yeah, and there's no bullshit to it. It's not like you want your off-road race. You can get a fucking Raptor or an STI or whatever. You can build an old school muscle car into a giant jacked up monster to take off-road. And you can do the same shit with the on-road racing. Like, there is a time and a place for just about every type of car and every type of situation. So it's not like they're saying, oh, well, race car guys, you have to stick to this type of car. And drift guys, well, guess what? It's going to be a ridiculous wide body fucking Rocket Bunny body kit bullshit import. And drag is only going to be muscle cars. It's not like that. There is a smattering of everything and everything, which is nice. It's not pigeonholing any particular car into a particular spot.
Awesome. Like, see, that sounds so good to me because that's the kind of games that the racing games that I enjoy, where I can take a car that I like, that I'm super comfortable with, and I can do different things with it, and I can figure out the ways to run that vehicle to where it'll do what I need.
If you want, go get your Civic and jack it up and go do some off-roading with it.
Yeah,
you laugh, sir, but I might do that.
Actually, one of the off-road races I ran, a Civic hatchback, like a 2000 and 96 to 2000 Civic was one of the competitors.
Awesome.
And underneath the layers of vinyl, it was a silver one.
No shit.
Yeah. Silver was a really popular color for that car.
Was that hatchback Civic?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, that's amazing!
Because race credit, you got to be a hatchback.
That's right.
And yeah, it has the collector aspect and everything else in it, but they've gated it. It's not, okay, go out and take this shitbox car you start with and keep running races until you get enough money to buy a supercar. They're like, no, fuck that. Progress through the story enough, and then you can unlock the cars. So I don't get to fill that collector idea where I just buy all the cars I want in the first hour and then I'm done. I actually have a reason to play the game.
See, and to me, that's smart. Like, I like that because it feels like you are actually earning those cars, not fucking just you play for an hour and then they get handed over to you.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it. There was a ridiculously difficult sim racing game for like PS2 and PS3.
You're not thinking of fucking Driver, are you? Because that thing was god awful.
No, that was PS1. Primarily.
PS1.
It got much easier as time went by.
I think I did that on PC, and it wasn't too bad. It wasn't nearly as bad as the console version.
Like the console version of that game would have made anybody poke their fucking eyes out, dude. God damn, it was terrible.
I remember hearing that. I'm glad I never got the console version.
Yeah, you should be, Black Sun. You really should be. Because it was wretched.
Say my current most recent racing game would be Grid 2.
But that's what was missing from Forza 7 was the fact that you had a career of sorts. And I mean, they were good enough that, or they're good enough in Payback that they still give you a taste of the better cars. And it's very much a Fast and Furious influence type of game where shit there are some big moments even early on in the game where it's like, okay, here's some crazy shit that you can't quite be sure that this couldn't actually happen, but that shit looks cool as hell.
Yeah.
And then they split everything up to where there's defined, like I mentioned, there were multiple protagonists. Well, all of the drivers have their own specialities.
Yeah.
But it's also not as bad as the last one where everybody's bras and, you know, it's fucking, let's go chug some Monster and go street racing because it's awesome. They do have the whole, the street is family and we take care of the streets and blah, blah, blah.
It's not one big advertisement. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, it's not an advertisement, but it's not, so far it has not beaten the horse to death that there is some inherent nobility in street racing. And the cops are decent in the game. Like, they're not, so far, they have not proven to be completely and totally brainless.
So good AI. Good AI.
And
So
they
where were
seem,
those speech classes again?
yeah, yeah. They seem to have a little bit of vengeance. Because I ran a couple trying to buy parts to upgrade to get into the next couple of races or be competitive in the next couple of races. There were a couple of AI racers that I got familiar with, and it seemed like they got a little bit upset with me at times and would try and push me off the track.
Those dirty bastards.
So yeah, once I have some time to get into it fully, I'll give a full report. But so far, it is fun to play. The arcade, there is still strategy to it and racing lines, but the arcadiness is still there. The cars are fun to fucking drive. You feel good when you pull off a drift or you hit a perfect line or you go completely off road and hit a jump and shave time off because you took a crazy route instead.
That's always nice.
Dude, I love that. Like those things that you can do that are gonna shave a little bit of time off that most of the time people wouldn't think about. Or like in Gran Turismo, there is like that shit isn't there. That's part of what makes it fun.
Oh, I was wholly outclassed in the first boss race for off road, and I managed to skate ahead of him in the beginning, but he was chomping on my bumper the entire like first half of the race, and then he passed me, and I managed to gain enough ground when we got into a pretty steep turn. I hit him with a pit maneuver, and that was it. I never saw him again the rest of the race.
Nice.
Well, it does take a little bit to recover from those, typically.
Especially when you go skittering across the desert.
And you end up at a mile off the track.
Yeah, there wasn't like when I hit him as hard as I could. His rear quarter was my brake pedal.
That's
Look,
what it's
I'm not gonna say he deserved it, but he fucking deserved it.
Well, I guess the funny thing, there's canned dialogue during the races where you're talking to each other and stuff. And like I hit him hard, rode him off the course, and then he made fun of my driving, and then like 45 seconds later I was close to the exit and he's like, "Oh, I knew you'd be an arrogant asshole." And you say something like, "And?" He's like, "You are an arrogant asshole, but you know how to drive." And I'm like, "Yeah, because I wrecked you. You're probably actually dead. If this was real life, you wouldn't have survived that."
At least there's some good sounding, at least canned comments. It's not just super generic. They try to add a little bit of humor in there.
Yeah. And there is plenty of humor. The first, like, you get introduced to all the characters and then shit goes down and then it's 6 months later and it reintroduces you. So you jump in between the characters. And like the secondary protagonist is your off-road and drift guy, and he's taken to driving around celebrities and doing different stunt crap to make ends meet. And he takes, I can't even remember, he refers to the guy as a YouTuber, and the guy gets all pissy and he's like, I'm a Twitterist.
What?
Nice.
It's your typical, like, social media douchebag. And he's going on a ride along. The guy, the secondary protagonist, is driving the kid around as a job, but the kid's like, "Oh yeah, and I want to, show people what it's like to drift." And like the entire ending cutscene to that drift introduction is the kid holding on to the back of the BRZ, puking his guts out.
Oh, fuck yes.
And like the
Very nice.
primary protagonist calls you and is like, "Hey, I've got a plan. I need you to come back. I need us to work together." And the kid's puking, and then he finishes. And he's like, "Man, did you get me on video puking?" And you just pick the phone back up, and you're like, "Man, please hurry." So they're not even like trying to appeal to fucking tweeting everything and Facebook posts and everything else. They're really playing every angle they possibly can. But I'm old and bitter, so I think it's all funny.
Yeah, you're not the only one there, really. We enjoy that kind of humor, also. I know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
definitely do.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Like,
that's
from
that's
what you're
been-
telling me, like this game sounds real amazing.
it's the most, like I said, I don't know whether it's going to be a good game or not, but it's the most fun I've had in a racing game in a while.
And you get to start 3 days early, you're saying?
Yep. Thanks to Origin giving me a 10-hour trial, and that being enough for me to decide that the game was worth purchasing.
Cool.
Along with 10% off.
Yes, sir. That just knocked out a third of my purchase price for the year of Origin Premium or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
And I got Mass Effect Andromeda for free, so there's another $15 probably as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Slowly whittle it down.
And that's been, that's all I've been playing, really. I haven't dipped into a whole lot else.
Sounds like there really hasn't been a need for much else. That's been,
Yeah.
say,
Just say that sounds like it's been pretty good and pretty worthwhile, bud.
The one thing I will I will caution everybody on, anybody that's played it or will play it. If you have a really close race at the end, I don't know if their detection algorithm is functioning 100% or not. Because there's been a couple of times where it was neck and neck, and I knew I was in first. Like, I even tilted the camera, and my nose was far ahead. Like, I would say the nose of their car was about center front wheel for me, and they got first place. And other times in the reverse, I've gotten first place. So
Maybe they're going by the tires and not the body.
I don't know. Well, either way, my tire would be across first.
I'd say I wasn't sure because some of them they have the say a longer front end or whatever, the nose clip.
But yeah, it still seems to balance out because I know I've been in second place and gotten first a couple of times as well. So whatever, it's just if you are a rage racer, probably not the best game to play until they've patched a couple of things. Because even I, the first time it happened, I was like, what the fuck? Really? I know I was ahead.
Yeah, I know someone that wouldn't like that then. They joined me for iRacing for a bit, and that didn't last very well. That's full on
iRacing,
sim.
yeah, iRacing takes one hell of a commitment, both monetarily and time-wise.
Like, isn't that the one where people get like insanely crazy gear and shit to race? Like wheels and special chairs and all kinds of crazy shit like that.
Some, yeah, some will do the full cockpit, setup and whatnot. I'd say I did it long enough. I started off with just that was a Xbox 360 wheel, but I was doing enough, and say I was having fun with it and saved up, and then I got myself with the Logitech G27 racing wheel. It's not best of the best, but it's a good middle ground, and you have the feedback and all that, and all the pedals.
Yeah,
It makes it a lot more fun. I mean, I won't use it for like Need for Speed. It's it's not made for that. I mean, you can, but it's not right. Like Tracer was saying, it's more of the arcade feel, and like say the Need for Speed and the Forzas. To use the wheel, I mean, the full on Sims, it's better. Otherwise, it's just a little much.
a little overkill. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so I can get better control like a Need for Speed with say a controller than with a wheel.
I mean,
I
there's see, in my opinion, as somebody that has never played iRacing, iRacing is the type of game where you can afford to race in real life, but you just don't wanna.
I'd say I didn't spend that much here. I got a few of the tracks, and see, I had never made it like all the way up through all of it, so I didn't have like all the tracks, all the cars, and didn't pay for all that. I did what, $50 for a year subscription, and with my wheel, I probably got four or five, say maybe $500 roughly.
I was gonna say, I thought that was the game where you could sink some cash into it.
You can. But say you buy the tracks and the cars, and you got them for life. It's not like you gotta if they because they go out and they actually digitally laser scan all the tracks. So you like if there's a patch in the track and a little bump there, you feel it. I've been on tracks and yeah, I've actually noticed that.
That's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, I mean they go all out. It's not they don't let go of anything. They just it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
But it is supposed to be a full on sim, so they give you the full experience. They do say like on the stock car side of it, if you're running like the top stock car, which Sprint Cup or whatever, I mean, they'll do like the new generation cars, which actually, NASCAR does. Then they'll redo them, and then you'll say occasionally you will have to rebuy them if you want to continue and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's
Just,
10.
It's too much time, too much effort, too much work, and too goddamn much money.
I didn't have the drag car time and the funds for that. I'd go through $50, $75 of gas in a weekend drag racing on top of then entry fees.
Yeah.
Hey, that's why I stick with very, very simple autocross.
Yeah, it wasn't bad starting out. I mean, I was getting, 20, $25 a weekend first starting, but you kind of get the itch and then you want to go a little bit more and you end up no longer being street strip and it's full on drag. Higher compression, higher horsepower, and yeah, running the race field and all that.
Meh.
The nice part though is it's not, drag racing isn't hard on parts overly.
If you're not turning, you're not racing. Sorry, NASCAR fanboys.
Well, they're turning, just most time it's only left.
So yeah, it's all left-hand turns.
I'm not saying it's not difficult to do. I'm just saying it's boring.
Yeah, it is.
Not your cup of tea.
Yep, not at all. But I think that's a good chance. Speaking of not my cup of tea. And now we're on to the news. So starting out our news this week, Super Mario Odyssey, the best selling, or at least fastest selling Mario game in the United States so far.
And
Yeah.
that's pretty crazy.
5 days they sold 1.1 million units.
Damn.
Yeah, there's been a lot of hype around it. I mean, you see ads all over, but everyone, say around campus, whatnot, I mean, it's been a hot topic for quite a while now.
I mean, it has been since E3, but yeah, that's crazy. 1.1 million units, and it wasn't a packaged game.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good.
So, congrats, Nintendo. You've made Mario even more relevant than he already was.
Right?
But yeah, moving on to sad news. If you were looking forward to Torchlight 3, don't look forward to it anymore. Runic Seattle got the axe.
Like, did they just close their doors or did somebody buy them?
No, they were already owned.
Mm-hmm.
They had a Chinese parent company that owned them and quite a few other game development studios across the world. And I can't remember the name of the company. A Chinese development studio was shut down, which, by the way, I love the fact that heads of businesses in China and other countries, whenever they get fucked, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, let me publicly burn some bridges now. Because when they got shut down earlier, they said, yes, this sucks, but wait, there's more. And then their parent company announced that Runic Seattle was shutting down, but that they were going to keep Runic around and continue to sell Runic Seattle's games, but they wanted to focus on online games as a service.
Yeah, I seen that earlier too, actually, and it was Perfect World was the name of the China-based publisher.
So yeah, they basically the guys at Runic that actually started the company are pretty upset, understandably. They said they'll bounce back, but right now they're just worried about getting all of the staff there new jobs. But yeah, they're severely disappointed.
I don't understand why.
But hey, that means they'll have more time to sign up for the GeForce Experience beta, which is now making it so the last vestige of old school punching your buddy for screen peeking can now die a complete death. A new part of the experimental beta feature of the GeForce Experience allows co-op streaming, which lets you basically play a local co-op game across the internet.
Really?
Yeah, not 100% sure on the tech behind it or anything else, but I'm sure it will be popular. I'm just curious if you still get both screens locally, because that seems like a huge chance to cheat a whole lot, in my opinion. But whatever.
Yeah.
And your buddy's not close enough to hit you for it.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see how it works out, or if GeForce is kind of getting more into a different sector. I mean, they had the Shield, and now they're going for stuff like this. So they're definitely trying to expand features, but I don't know. Maybe you guys should release more than one stable driver every 6 years before you worry about other shit. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. That is kind of, yeah, they're known for. Unfortunately. Depending what game you play on which driver you run. And that goes for both red and green.
Well, the downside to it is, which that reminds me of the greatest April Fool's joke I've ever seen. Really, they don't do a terrible job, but 99% of the time when you experience an issue with a brand new game, like a massive stuttering or anything else, which, I mean, I looked at upgrading to a 1080 Ti and other shit, and I didn't because I really don't need it. Anytime a new game comes out and you experience stuttering issues or frame rate issues or anything else, the first fucking answer you find to any problems are, did you update your drivers? And then, did you roll back your drivers?
Yes.
And I'm like, come on, you guys. And again, this does go across the board, both NVIDIA and AMD. You guys have been in this business too goddamn long. You've killed 3 other companies. You rest on their corpses. Come the fuck on.
You should have it figured out by now.
Yeah. But the April Fool's thing, which it wasn't something either one of them took part in, but it was a tech publication's fucking April Fool's joke, was talking about how they'd done an interview with the CEOs of NVIDIA and AMD, and like they were walking around the factory, and both the NVIDIA CEO and the AMD CEO were laughing, and they're like, yeah, like 20 years ago we got together and we're like, we're gonna play this huge joke on everybody. They're the exact same cards, we just paint the motherboards different colors. Yeah. The internet.
We just do the same, just rearrange things and everything else. It's all identical.
Which honestly, at this point, video card wise, yes, processor wise, AMD and Intel are wildly different. Although they seem to fucking AMD will finally get their power concerns under control, and then NVIDIA will disable 2 cores and release an 8 cores, a 6 core, and go, oh, look at us. We did this, and now our power consumption's even lower, even though we're just killing a better chip and charging you less because we could have done this all along.
Yeah, you gotta love when they do that.
And then AMD's like, no, we've got this new thing, and it's the Intel killer, and it's going to be great. And the fucking power is massive, and it's so much better than anything. And it comes out, and it's not even that much slower, but it's like 5% or 10% slower than what they said it would be, which is still fucking 50% faster than what anybody is ever going to need. And then the AMD people get butthurt, and the Intel people are all out there up in arms. They're like, see, we told you it wouldn't be that fast. And it's just back and forth, and there's so many battle lines drawn. I'm just like, who fucking cares?
Yeah, I mean, depending on your budget, what you can do, and what you're looking for. I mean, there's good options for everybody out there. Everything is pretty close anymore.
Okay, we have not seen a fucking processor increase in 7 years. We get more cores, we get less heat, and we get less power consumption. That's it. That's all we got. Arguing about this shit now is dumb as fuck. And guess
Yeah,
what, kids? I've got a fucking, what was at the time, a top of the line 8-core fucking Skylake processor, which means I can edit and render videos, watch YouTube, and play a fucking video game at the same time. Guess what? I only started doing that in the last couple months. It didn't mean shit before then.
yeah. Well, and I think they, for the speed wise, I think they've kind of hit. They're on their limit on for speed wise until they make it some big breakthrough somewhere to be able to push the speed more.
Yeah,
I think they've plateaued.
they have,
Yeah.
absolutely. We have not seen an increase in 7 years, not an appreciable increase. Unless we get into some carbon technology or some other shit, all they're doing is miniaturizing right now. They're not fucking doing anything else. Again, they're reducing heat, reducing power consumption. That's it.
Yeah, just improving the efficiency. That's where they gotta get it. So you add more cores, and say not all of it. You gotta wait for the either say and that's where gaming you're not gonna get much until they get more properly multi-threaded. And I mean, you're good until you get stuff that they get fully multi-threaded and they push a lot more out to it. Other than that, it's all business, at software that is going to fully utilize it. I believe it's Moore's law that is taking effect.
Yes.
You're going to have to explain to me what that is because I don't know what that is.
All
You
right.
see,
Everybody put on their ticket caps because Racer's about to school me on something.
Basically, the Moore's law is kind of a technology half-life. It basically says that the amount, the original was the amount of transistors in a circuit would double about every 2 years. What it has turned into is basically everything is getting smaller and smaller. It went from that to basically saying that the actual size of the dies in a CPU would get smaller and smaller as time goes by. And the current belief is that within the next basically 8 years, 9 years, we're going to hit the end of Moore's Law, and either something huge is going to break or we're going to completely plateau.
Ah, okay.
yep, shrink them down, a little more efficient, and you can shove more cores basically on there.
Yeah. And that's all it is. You're basically PC 101. We went from basically, imagine your CPU is a series of light bulbs. If it's not lit, it's a 0. If it is lit, it's a 1. Well, we went from having 4 bulbs to 16 to 32, and now we've got about a million of them. And the idea is in 2 years, we'll have 1.5 million. In another 2 years, we'll have 5 million. And it just keeps increasing, which allows more complicated system of processes to occur. And that's all it is. Basically, there are a bunch of switches that are either a 0 or a 1 that carries out math. That's the simplest way to explain it. But the more mathematic equations can occur at the same time or more efficiently.
Okay.
You put lots of switches on there so you can do like all the math, bunches of math at once instead of just a little bit of math.
Yeah.
And that's where your dual core and your quad core and your 6 core and 8 cores come from. They actually divide them, and each one of those cores is supposed to handle a specific set of tasks, but you have, like Black Sun said, you have to code the software to take advantage of that. If you don't, then it doesn't matter.
Ah. Okay.
Yep, every thing will be done on just basically one, maybe two. A little bit of overflow from with like say Windows, it'll take advantage of a little bit more, but yeah. Say before games, they would all be on one processor. That's even if you had multiple cores, it did you no good.
Now, I have a question. Is that why, like, there's people that bitch about games not being optimized real well? Is that what they're talking about?
That can be a part of it. The optimization kind of falls down to it not being designed to run on a wide range of hardware, which is where DirectX comes in. DirectX was Microsoft's attempt to standardize your video and audio to where there was a set of protocols that Windows could communicate with, and then everybody else could build software designed to interface with DirectX. So you were basically given a little bit of automation in your optimization of a program.
Yeah.
DirectX is kind of at times is a translator between other things, so it all works the way it's supposed to.
Okay, well that makes sense.
But yeah, optimization that can be anything from like so it covers older video cards to the newest ones, so that everybody can play well along the same with CPU and sound also.
But hey, speaking of optimization, or a couple big announcements came out recently from everybody's favorite Unwashed Virgin convention. And proving that Blizzard will send a cease and desist and steal your ideas, World of Warcraft Classic was announced.
So Vanilla WoW.
Yeah. Are you tired of having a streamlined experience? Are you sick of everything being friendly and telling you where to go and what to do? Remember when you had to quit your job and work for months on end to afford a mount? Blizzard remembers. So, yes, officially, Blizzard will be supporting vanilla servers. Pay a subscription fee to play a game that came out 12 years ago, just like it used to be.
So it's not covered under your current subscription, and you need an extra one for that.
I don't know what their model is going to be. I would imagine they'll probably have it as an add on of some sort. Or maybe they'll just include it if you have it. It'll just be another server type to select. But they're betting on bringing back a bunch of old members that are mad that things are easy now.
I would bet that it will be another server type. Because they're going to piss off. There's going to be people that are like, no, I'm not going to fucking pay. Fuck you.
I'm not. I didn't even play. I started playing in Burning Crusade. If you want to bring back Burning Crusade servers, sure.
Start grinding for that Netherwing again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear a lot of people talk about, the vanilla and wanting to. I don't know how long it would last if they just want to do it, get the feel for it again for a few months and then be enough or not.
I have a feeling that's where that would end up.
I don't know. The independent group that met with Blizzard that had their vanilla servers running, they had a mass amount of concurrent users.
Nice. I'd say I would not know though much about it because that is one game I've never played.
You should probably do yourself a favor and not.
Yeah, I don't plan on it. I've made it this long since Warcraft's been out. I think I can make it the rest of the way.
Well, in that case, the next bit of news will be perfect for you.
Oh, really?
I do. As a final statement, I have to say the cinematic for the classic WoW servers was pretty cool. Like that was at least entertaining. But much like is always the case with Blizzard, their cinematics are amazing, and then the reality is usually kind of a disappointment.
Yeah.
There's a few places out there like that.
They also released the trailer for the next expansion pack. So, again, proving that they caved to all community pressure and that all of the tinfoil hat wearing people on forums and social groups were correct. Literally all of the top theories are correct. Everybody was bitching that there was too much Alliance Horde hand-holding. Well, they're back at war again, full on. In fact, the name of the expansion is The Battle for Azeroth. Let's see. Horde versus Alliance, check. Kaltiris, check. Zandalar, check. Now let's make sense of this. Within the game mythos, they literally just faced a cosmic threat greater than anything that ever existed before that could have potentially eliminated all life everywhere. So you managed to put down this rabid, angry dog. Everybody goes home, spends like a day patting each other on the back, and then they're like, wait a minute, we don't like you.
Yeah, nope, sorry. Yeah, no. Fuck you guys. It's on.
Man, that sounds like some real life shit.
Like the cinematic, Anduin just gets fucking Greymane and brings a bunch of troops to Lordaeron, and they're like, nah, fuck this, we're gonna take the city back now. Fuck you. And then Sylvanas is all like, alright, I fucking made a deal with the damned, and I am the Banshee Queen, so here's my Banshee powers, fuck you. And then Anduin's like, nope, plot armor, bitch. I'm going to suddenly raise from the dead this entire field of troops, and they're all going to be perfectly fine and human. There's obviously not going to be a return to the Lich King kind of deal here, where this ability to resurrect hundreds of people at one time is going to have any kind of consequence whatsoever.
Oh man. Well,
Let's
I
see.
like the idea.
Let's see. It killed a giant cosmic threat and still not able to pull any of our heads out of our asses. Yep, that's check too.
Sounds like they got all bases covered.
Yeah, it does kind of sound like that, doesn't it, Black Sun?
From what I know about it, yes.
It's just incredibly frustrating to see how much they go forward and back. And like, I get it. I get they're trying to maintain the status quo from their fucking real-time strategy game, but it's been 12 years. Just give it up. None of this shit's making any sense. Like in one expansion pack, we found a way to basically cure the Nightborn, yet fucking 5 expansion packs later and everybody's still like the Blood Elves and their magic addiction. That's ridiculous. To the point even now they're like, "Oh yeah, well Night Elves can use magic now. That's cool." What? Wait a minute.
This isn't right.
So, wait. Like the entire basis for one of your races is that magic is terrible for elves and it destroyed them, and it's so bad it turned most of one entire segment of their population into crackheads. But it's cool that this other group can use it. But now we have 2 other entire segments, 2 entire other groups that are like, no, they're crackheads. Magic is bad for elves, except this tiny population that loves trees. They're cool.
If you hug trees, you can have magic. Otherwise, piss off.
Just ignore the first decade where we're like, no, they can't use magic because it's terrible for them. They'll get addicted and turn into bad things. Like, it would make more sense if, like, Anduin showed up at Lordaeron and was like, nah, it's cool, you can have it. You know, we had our differences, but I really think we should just, like, be cool. That would make as much sense as this kind of fucking development. And I agree, like, there were people pointing out the fact that all of the Tauren from Legion and all of the Nightborn, which the Nightborn side makes a little bit of sense to me, but both of those completely side with the Horde, like no question. The High Mountain makes no sense to me.
Oh no. Fuck no.
The Nightborn do just because the Blood Elves were like, yeah, we get it. Shit got bad, and you did some bad shit. Been there, done that. There's literally a hole through the middle of our city that made us go, oh shit, maybe we should stop shooting up.
But it's so much fun.
And yeah, then you've got fucking, you guys get the Alliance gets the fucking shiny Draenei. That's all you guys get.
Well, you know.
Oh no, wait, you guys get Dark Iron too.
Yeah.
So there's the balance. You guys get, and I hate to say this, the Black Dwarves. Not racially, just the Black Dwarves. They're literally like shades of gray and black. That's all they are. And Draenei that prefer wearing gold over purple, I guess, is the big difference there.
Yeah. That's really about what it boils down to.
Which
special.
is, again, this is like a Mass Effect 3 level thing for me. Like, oh, these two groups cannot get along. And I'm like, bullshit! Bullshit! I spent 3 goddamn games negotiating a peace between the Corian and the Geth. I literally, 15 minutes ago, set this shit up to where the Corian and the Geth were like, we're cool, we fixed our shit, we're working together now. And then 15 minutes later, you're like, no, organic and machine life cannot get along. Bullshit, motherfucker. Bullshit. And this is the same goddamn shit. Like, we've been running around the same places, doing the same shit. You're telling me that you set an entire expansion up where the player character is the leader and is the hero and solves all the problems and marshals a greater force than any of the individual races or the combined races the factions can come up with on their own. And then because we go home, everybody's like, nah, I ain't gonna listen to you anymore. Like, fucking, I would take my goddamn hall, my paladin hall, filled with near godlike beings, walk into Lordaeron and grab both Sylvanas and Anduin and be like, listen here, bitches. I'm sick of this shit. Stop it right now. Or I'm gonna lay both of you out.
Why should go into timeout?
We stomped the ever-loving shit out of Kil'jaeden. Don't make me bring that down on you. But no, I can't do that. There's got to be war between the factions. Like, I would seriously just like to have the chance to burn Lordaeron and fucking Elwyn Forest to the ground and be like, no. You see what happens when you don't get along? You lose your toys. Now you two sit here and you talk it out.
You hold hands until you can get along.
Like, seriously, we've killed gods. Better than gods. Yet somehow we're just gonna be like, okay, they don't like each other. I guess I'll just fall in line. No, bitch. I raised a fighting force capable of resisting the greatest evils in the universe. Fuck you. Fuck you and the horses you both rode in on. I'm gonna make my own goddamn faction with blackjack and hookers.
Now that is a faction I can get into.
Which is
Actually,
really,
I know you're about it too.
That's like what I want the end to be. When they finally pull the plug, like all of the player characters just band together and you're like, you know what? We're done with all of your shit. Here's a boat. All of the faction leaders are getting put on it. We formed a council. We're gonna run this shit now. Bye-bye.
Yeah, the back and forth. Like, I understand they've been doing this game for a very long time, and it is probably honestly getting a little bit hard for them to come up with ideas. You know, I'm not fucking stupid. But goddamn.
Well, it's say longest running MMO,
Oh yeah.
and there's been, I mean, in with the way they've been doing it, I mean, there's been no. They can only update stuff so much before. I mean, it's gonna they're either gonna run out of stuff or they're gonna have to do a complete reboot with new engine, everything ground up, and and do something else.
Oh yeah. Well, Blizzard's gonna milk that cash cow until that motherfucker runs dry. All three of us know that. Like, it's no secret.
I'd say, how much are the graphics? I mean, have they been improving them greatly over the years?
Oh yeah.
Not tremendously. Well,
no. Compared to vanilla? Yeah. It's improved massively. Look at fucking Legion and look at the fucking set design. There's a reason that we look terrible in game. And it's they could really do with amping up the poly count in the models themselves and redesigning the whole like armor system. But they don't want to lose the subscribers that still play on potatoes.
yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Like, and that's kind of what kills it for me at times. There's so many good-looking pieces that are modeled, And then you realize the chest piece and everything else, like right now, the gloves, the boots, and the shoulder pieces and helmets are modeled, and everything else is just texture.
Yeah.
See, hopefully they got someone. I mean, I would think they got something going on by now in the background. Because if they get something ready and like, all right, bam, here you go. This is our new one, version 2, with everything updated, so everything's nice, pretty, and optimized, and you can go in with however much, and you're not going to have any issues on the big raids with any lag or glitching. And say if they were
Well,
managed to do that and release it, at some point seamlessly in, I think they would get a bunch to jump over. I mean, they got the name and they have the brand built. I mean, people will follow.
yeah, they had that idea a couple years ago, and they were gonna. Well, honestly, right now, World of Warcraft should be dead. We're entering its death throes, and Titan was going to be the replacement, and they worked on it for 4 years, and then went, well, fuck, Titan's dead. There's going to be more WoW expansions. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Yep, that's pretty much exactly what happened.
Nice.
So, and even now, and I can attest to this, for what they can't do in character models, they do in backgrounds and effects and everything else. Yeah. The they have split, and I don't know when it started. It happened when I wasn't playing. They've split the graphics ability to where now you have your graphics settings for the game, and then you have raid graphics settings.
Yeah. I can't remember if they did that in Warlords or the one before that. It might have been the one before Warlords.
Mop.
Yeah.
And that's and even on my PC, and it's a CPU intensive game. Even on mine in raids, I'll get a little bit of chugging. So yeah, there's. I would love to see him do it, but I doubt it will ever happen to the level that I'd be like, oh, all of this looks awesome.
No. Because they don't want to lose the subscriber base that's like, yeah, no, I'd love to play, but I can't throw down on a new PC. You know?
Well, that's the thing though. I don't think it would take a whole lot of new one, because like say he was saying he's having trouble, and it's a CPU side, which it shouldn't be necessarily, and that's all goes back to what you were saying earlier, the optimization. It's not fully taking use of that. So if they were to actually say have it fully optimized where it will take use of all the more current technologies that most everyone has, it probably wouldn't be that bad.
Well, here's the issue with that. They can't do that.
Yeah, they actually literally cannot do that.
They
No, they
can't.
can't with the current.
Yeah, they can't change most of the code base because it's so tied together.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I was saying that's why the reason to do the new one, and why I don't think it would hurt as much as what Zero was thinking, because they could actually optimize it, and people wouldn't have to upgrade as much as what he's thinking. And yeah, there's no way they can fix the current one because it's ingrained in the engine. I mean, you'd have to rewrite the whole engine to make that fix.
Well, Racer, wasn't it you that was telling me, like the original 16 slot bag that you start the game with, like you can't ever get rid of it because of something they did that was real weird in the coding?
Yes, it's actually tied to the player. The original code tied that starting bag to the player code so you couldn't get rid of it because they were afraid people would throw it away or sell it, and then that would break the entire inventory system. So they hard coded the 16 slot bag to the player data, and now they can't disassociate it because it will shift the code base by a line and cause all of the stats and character data to fall out of place in the code.
Like, I just wonder how much more of that kind of thing is in there.
It's everywhere. Everywhere in the game. Anything you've seen that's like a quality of life improvement that people have bitched about for years that's never been done, that's it. That's why, because it's so deeply ingrained in the code, they'd have to recode from the base to fix it.
Yeah. And I imagine, like, Black Sun, I'm sure you could probably explain just how bad this would be, but I imagine it'd probably be real terrible to do at this point.
You're starting fresh. You're completely over. There is no implementing. You are starting completely over, and there's no way to easily do it. You are starting completely over. You can't like do an engine and do that, and then try to patch all these expansions, everything, and onto it. It's not doable. You'd still have all kinds of issues and problems, and still wouldn't fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could improve, but with the amount of time that you're spending and doing it, you could make a whole new version 2 of the whole game. You'd be brand new. And that's why, that's kind of what I was getting at. At this point, that's kind of where they're at, and they need to. Hopefully, they're working on or have something, because they're getting to that point. So I'm actually currently watching a 4K video or someone running it, and it actually of Legion, the newest one, and it actually looks. It doesn't look too bad. It looks better than, say, the other ones. They have improved, I think as best as they can to keep up.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we're way over time already.
Yeah.
So RDS is going topless this week. I mean, topicless. Nah, no one wants to see that.
No.
But yeah. Yeah, aside from trying to convince Black Sun that the council is wrong and we need absolute authority and he should join the dark side. Anybody got anything?
No, I don't think so. Like, I know we didn't get to our topic, but I think we had a pretty good episode, really.
Yeah, I'd say I'm good, and say we got a lot of good discussion in here. I think everybody will enjoy it.
Oh, yes. Well, in that case, tune in tomorrow for After Dark, and we'll still be topicless. We might even be pantsless. But until then, Zero, you know what to do.
Shoot for the stars.
And that will be the battle cry of our new faction!